medical power of attorney and financial power of attorney. When do you need both? Should you need both? And what are the differences? And how do the two interrelate? We're going to take a deep dive onto this information and demystify it. Powers of attorney, whether they're medical or financial, both play a different role. They are legal documents where you designate somebody to take care of those affairs when you're unable. A medical power of attorney makes healthcare decisions and determines where you will live. The financial power of attorney makes decisions about your finances if you're unable to. They have the power to pay your mortgage, to pay your Verizon bill, to talk to the mortgage company, to talk to the assessor's company, manage your assets, manage your liabilities. And if you have a financial power of attorney, but you need somebody to oversee your medical care, it means you're not as covered as you think you are. Most times people have both. And I, as an attorney and a litigator, think it's best practice to have the same person be the agent under your medical power of attorney and your financial power of attorney. And this is why. The medical power of attorney is going to be determining what the course of treatment is, what type of medical treatment you want, and of course, with your guidelines, when you complete the power of attorney, you do give them guidelines, and they're going to be responsible for where you live, if you need to go into assisted living, if you need dementia care, and the like, rehabilitation center. They're managing that portion of your life, if you will. And the financial power of attorney manages your finances. There are times as a litigator where we see this level of confusion and we see this tug of war in families because the medical power of attorney is saying, this is the best avenue for my parents. I think that they need to move into assisted living. I think this is the type of support they need. And so they go out and find it. But they cannot control the finances. And so there can be some conflict when the person who's overseeing the finances say, oh, no, 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 no. You are not going to spend that type of money. They're fine where they are. It creates this conflict. For me as an attorney, I think the best practice is you only have one agent. If you want separate agents, you can have one under the power of attorney and one under the financial power of attorney. But you should not list all 5 kids as each of your agents because they're all going to have different ideas about what's proper and what's not. And that is just going to lead everybody into the courtroom to decide what is the best and get the court to weigh in on it. Best practice for me is you have the medical power of attorney and the financial power of attorney be one person. And that way, the person who is consenting for the health care on your behalf, if you're unable to, is also the one that is in control of the finances. They can go hand in hand. If you want to separate them out, you can have one as financial, one, and then somebody else as the medical. I don't think it's best practice. I've seen a lot of times as a litigator where there is a tension and it cannot be resolved, and there's accusations, and they may start off as best friends and being able to work together, but that's not where they end up. In order to protect you or protect your elderly parents, you need both. And sometimes the devil's in the details, and if your powers are not comprehensive enough, it means you have 2 options. One, you have to go into court and you have to ask the court to expand the powers, or you end up filing for a conservatorship so that you get the powers as defined by the probate code here in California. It's really important that when these documents are drafted, it is done by somebody who's experienced. At our firm, we have had to fix powers of attorney after the person becomes incapacitated. And that is a much longer process. Either we're going into court when they're a conservatorship to get the financial authority or the medical authority that we need, or we're asking the court to confirm and expand the powers, which can be difficult for the court to do. That's the deep dive into a financial power of attorney and a medical power of attorney, the differences and how they work together. I hope you found this useful. Let me know if you have any questions about that. Drop it in the comments. If you have a question, I am sure somebody else does.